Throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
The latest and greatest that's going on as well. So that you, that's a fun stuff.
Alrighty, GM everyone. What's up? How are you doing, man? It's a Sunday, but it's not a typical Sunday right now. It is actually a Sunday full of craziness and madness in the crypto sector. Charts are fucking pumping. Volume is as high as never. I've never seen a weekday with such a high volume on chain, honestly. Metrics are completely crazy. So I was just like, when I woke up today, I was like, okay, we need to cover this at least to some extent. I want to talk about what's going on here. And so the first person I picked was you. How are you, man? How are you experiencing the past kind of 48 hours?
Dude, it's been completely insane. My story is I think like a lot of people's stories. I woke up at 2 a.m. I'm just scrolling Twitter, and then I saw a tweet about a Trump token, and I immediately assumed it was a scam, right? Like 100% a scam. There is no way that the president of the United States would really, and like how many pump and dumps do we see? Like how many times have we seen an account get compromised? And then it turns out that, it wasn't a real token. It was just whatever, right? This has happened to so many celebrities, so many people of note. But the president of the United States, like, no way, right? Yes way. It's insane.
It's insane. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
I think that you have my. I'd love to hear your story.
Yeah, for sure. I actually have a unique twist as well on it. I might break up here and there because I'm sitting on Bali right now in a cafe and my Wi-Fi is like, it's so, but it was the best I can do. So we might have to quit the camps at some point as well. But for me, I was literally in the plane. I was flying when it happened. So I was in the air, like this. I had like a 7-8 hour flight. And in the middle of that flight, President of the United States the future president in one day, just decided to launch a meme coin on Solana and go absolutely wild with it. And then, I touched down, I opened my Twitter and everyone was talking about it. I was like, okay, what the heck is going on? So that was pretty crazy. And now I'm looking at the chart and it's not stopping, man. It's getting even crazier. Let's just check out what's happening here. I'm just gonna pull up the deck screen for now. Look at this. Have you followed this in the past 5 minutes?
Yeah, no, I have. Like literally since we started talking before the podcast to now, it broke $40, and it's on the road to. I mean, the sky is the limit now because when you have this much distribution, and I mean, it's just net new people, especially like anybody who's Republican aligned. You have half the country now who's going to be like, well, the president of the United States has his own token, so where can I get that? Where can I get exposure to that? I believe in Donnie, right? And so the amount of new capital that's going to come in because of Donald and that liquidity is going to go somewhere, right? Not just that token. Because once they get curious, just like you and me, they go down the rabbit hole, and so it's really hard to it's kind of hard to fathom just how reality bending these developments are.
100% agree. No, 100% agree. Like just to give like a few stats here into the room as well. So after only 3 hours of trading, the token reached a 6 billion market cap, which is already pretty insane in such a short period of time. Then there was another tweet I saw where after I think it was 4 hours of trading, it did $1 billion volume in the first 4 hours of trading, $1 billion of volume of transactions in and out. And then the post was I think around maybe half a day ago. So maybe let's say it was maybe 8 hours, 10 hours after the token launched, there was already $300 million in the 1% fee pool, the largest pool, Trump USDC, which with a base fee of 1%. And the pool did already $1 billion in volume, and that was $10 million in LP fees. So just think about that as well. That's pretty insane. $10 million in LP fees. just from trading. And I want to, like, one thing I want to highlight here, and then I want to get your take as well um, on the whole topic of, you know, providing liquidity into such a token and how you can earn actually pretty good yields on this, because I think that's something a lot of people are fading. Everyone's just looking at token price, especially the normies, right? They have no idea what's happening under the radar or under the hood. But there's so much money right now that's being made on Meteora just from the trading fees of the token pairs. Because here's the thing, we're seeing right now for the first time a token with that is completely crashing all the records purely on chain, right? Like, just keep that in mind again. And we've been talking about this since weeks now, that the whole kind of community-centric cycle is kicking off. You know, that we're seeing DEXs with, like, compared to SEX future trading volume hitting all-time highs. We covered that in the pod as well just a few weeks back. So we're seeing all that on-chain liquidity flowing into the blockchain sector. We're seeing so much DEX activity, DEX volume. We're seeing DEX volume on Solana outpacing all the other blockchains by, like, I think 10x right now. The latest stats that I saw, they were insane, like so much DEX volume on Solana. So this whole plays perfectly into the whole narrative that I've been kind of following since the last 6 months, which is liquidity coming from centralized vendors and venues to decentralized venues. Jupiter, Meteora, all those kind of on-chain marketplaces for token trading expanding insanely. And I think that trend is right now reaching its absolute peak with what happened here with the Trump token. So it's a really interesting. It was almost. I kind of saw it coming that it's happening. I just didn't know what event will it be, and now I know what event will be the peak of that narrative. So yeah, I haven't seen that one coming. But what's your experience so far with the whole kind of liquidity provisioning? What do you think about the fact that there's so much money in trading fees to be made on tools like Meteora, and how does that work? Even, like, I don't 100% understand it, because I'm not in Meteora, you know, whale. I'm not participating in the whole game yet, but I think it's super interesting.
Yeah. So just a little bit of context, and definitely people in Solana already know this, but Trump was launched using the exact same tech stack that was used to launch the Jupe token. So from my understanding, even though this hasn't been officially confirmed, but it definitely has been implied, is the Trump team, whoever, because obviously it's not Donald Trump himself who was launching this token, but his team, I presume the same team that was actually working on his Trump NFTs. The reason why we know that it's the same team is because the metadata on the website for the NFT website, as well as the Trump token website, is the same, right? So heavily implies it's done by the same team. And also because of some tweets we've seen from the Meteora as well as Jupiter team, seems very clear that they've been working with that team to launch the token. And again, as you put it, you know, as you foresaw, everything now is being done on chain. It's the first time it's been done at the scale. And in terms of the tech stack, it's very simple. Meteora allows for liquidity provision, and it allows for fine-tuned control of how much money you want to be able to provide at certain ranges. So it's called a DLMM. And the way that you can kind of think of these market-making AMMs is the old classic style AMMs. You put money on a curve, and the money is distributed equally from 0 to infinity, right? And then the next generation of AMMs, like Orca, gave you more fine-tuned control. So these are called CLMMs, concentrated liquidity market makers, right? So unlike AMMs, which give you distributed liquidity evenly from 0 to infinity, a DLMM will allow you to set very specific ranges where you want to put the liquidity. So, like, let's say anywhere from $35 to $45 for the Trump token. So you will be providing liquidity for these ranges. Now, what Meteora does, that's even a step above a classic CLMM, a DLMM is just one more area of specificity where you can decide the shape of the curve. So in a CLMM setup, concentrated liquidity model, it's just flat distribution between your range. So from $25 to $45, the liquidity is going to be distributed equally, right? Meteor gives you 3 new options. You have spot, which gives you that classic flat even distribution. You have bid ask, which is kind of like a V-shaped curve. So what you're trying to play is the volatility, and then you have a curve distribution. And that's really good if you think that the price is going to stay in a particular location. So you put the majority of your liquidity right in the middle. So that's what a DLMM like Meteora does. Not only does it allow you to set the specific ranges, like let's say $25 to $45, it also allows you to, based on your thesis, to change the shape of the curve. And why do I say thesis? Well, if you think that the Trump token is going to continue to go up, you probably want to go with a curve model, because you want to if you're guessing that the Trump token is continuing to go up, it makes no sense to have a bunch of your USDC or your SOL at like the bottom end of the curve, like towards $25. You'd actually want it to be closer to the current price where you think it's going to be trading at. But if you think the Trump token is going to dump, then probably better for you to set up a bid ask V, so that as the Trump token like dumps towards the $25, you'll be buying more and more of it at a cheaper price. So it really just depends on whether or not you think, hey, is the token going to go up or down? So those are the basics of Meteora.
Gotcha. Okay. Let us also just turn off the cams, because sometimes I don't understand you well here with this Wi-Fi, and I wanna this is juicy information. I don't wanna miss out on this. So I'll just share my screen and switch into this mode here. Let's see if that works right now. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, let's do like this. That's okay. You see this? Do you see the screen, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so yeah, they actually announced this officially, right? So at the beginning, when the whole Trump thing started, obviously there were a lot of people in my group chats asking, is this scam? Is this for real? What is happening? And then Jupiter pushed out this announcement. We worked closely with the Meteora AG, ensuring an ST launch for Trump and so on. So there was like what you were referring to, that they actually announced this publicly. And then also the engagement is completely insane on that post, and all these numbers are really good kind of criterias and really interesting points that show how much attention right now is flowing into that token, right? Like even Seb Monty was very picky normally with things he says. S tier, sexy. Trump coin is sexy. Didn't think I would say that before. Insane. Like this man saying this. And the amount of comments below this post is completely crazy, and everyone is basically reacting to it. And I think the whole when you talk about the Meteora pool strategy, are you referring to adding liquidity to existing pools, or are you referring to setting up your own pool as a liquidity provider for that token? What is the best practice here? If you want to, let's say I want to farm rewards and I want to farm trading fees, what do I do?
Yeah, the best thing to do would be actually, if you don't mind, I'll go to the Meteor. Actually, no, I don't want to share my screen. Sorry, I don't want to tox my information. But if you go to the Meteor website, yeah, perfect. And then there's several tabs, so this will probably confuse you at first, especially if you've never been to Meteora before. And just for context for some people, Meteora, if you provide liquidity there, I mean, shoot, you could earn easily 10-20% on your money, which might seem like, oh, I'm in crypto to earn 10x, and I understand people who want to make the bag like that. But quite frankly, 10-20% a day is insane. It's ludicrous. It's a ungodly amount of fees. So you can see right there, there's Trump SOL and Trump USDC. If you're trying to make more money, I would recommend using the Trump SOL pools. You don't have to create new pools. The pools already exist, so you can use the existing ones. If you click on the Trump SOL pool, you'll actually see the top 3 pools sorted by the amount of, you have it sorted by 24-hour volume. What I like to do is sort by 24-hour fee on the right-hand side. So you can see which pools will make you the most money. It's right in the header there next to 24-hour volume and TVL. It's like a sort option right above Trump SOL.
You mean those things?
24-hour fee of TV. Yes, correct. If you click that, then you'll sort the pools by 24-hour TVL, and you'll see. Yes, perfect. Oh, okay, never mind. That's not what I thought it would do. Anyways, you could use any one of these. I would recommend using. I would recommend using the one on top, obviously, because that's the one that's going to be printing you the most fees. And no, this is sorted from the bottom. These will make you the least amount of money.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, my internet is like so bad. Like I click a button and it takes like 5 seconds to load.
Oh, no.
I just wanted to, can you log out with your wallet and show it by any chance?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, like just looking at the DEX screen again right now, like while we're talking, this shit pumped like from 30 billion to 40 billion. And it's absolutely insane. Like I've read so many messages from analyzing the traders here. If you look at them, like just before you share your screen here, like, people literally buying in at $1 million this token and selling at 5 mil, making insane numbers here, like overall. The amount of investments as well that flows into this token. I see people dumping 700K checks in a single transaction on that token. Like in both directions.
It's so liquid.
Yeah, which is probably related to the topic that we talk about right now, right? The whole Meteora strategy and the fact that there's so much API. Feel free to share your screen if you can.
Yes, sharing right now.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, we see it.
Yeah, so here are all of the pools. If you want to make more money, I would recommend using Trump Sol pools. You're taking on more risk on a Trump Sol pool because now you have 2 volatile pairs, right? You have a Trump token, which God knows if it's going to pump to infinity, if it's going to dump to 50%. I hate to be a party pooper, but I want to be one of those guys that's always preaching safety when I can. Even for GameStop, it looked like the short squeeze was going to happen at that time. And it didn't, right? The regulators essentially stopped trading on the token, and Robinhood and different services stopped the ability to buy, right? So obviously you can't do that on chain. So that's a huge upgrade, right? Like there's no body that can stop the trading. It's 24/7, and there's no like, hey, if it goes up by 10% in 10 minutes, then we're going to stop trading on this token. Like that just does not exist in crypto. So you get true price discovery for an asset. But Solana also is pumping, but also fluctuating a bit. So you take on more risk here because you can't precisely price like your ranges. Whereas with Trump USDC, which had way more liquidity, almost 10 times the amount, like 9 times the amount of liquidity as the Trump Sol pool, you will earn significantly less in fees, but it'll be much more easy for you to kind of calculate your profit and what you're making because you have a stable pair, right? But yeah, if you're in the mood to make money, and I think everyone is, I've been using either the BinStep 20 with a 0.2% fee, or 125 bin steps with a 5% fee. Both have been performing very nicely. Wow. If you're wondering what the difference is between BinStep 20 versus BinStep 125, Meteora has add position.
Yeah, you don't see this at the wallet.
Yeah. So you can these are the amount of bins. I mean the how do I say the kind of each bucket,
the price bin.
Each bin step kind of tells you like how much more each bucket is worth, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right? So obviously the BinStep 20 has higher resolution than BinStep 125, right? Which is just kind of bigger buckets in general. But yeah, you can provide liquidity here. These are the different curves I was talking about. Spot is really good for even distribution if you're really unsure about how the price is going to move. Curve is really good for, especially if you're providing like SOL or USDC, this blue curve over here. If you think the Trump token is going to continue to go up, you want the majority of your liquidity to be in this range, right? But if you think the Trump token has the possibility to dump, you want to be buying Trump at a more, let's say, at a cheaper price, right? If you think it's going to dump. Some people I know like to adjust these ranges continuously. I was experimenting with that yesterday. But other folks, they just like a set it and forget it strategy. And quite frankly, you'll make less mistakes if you do spot. So if you're a beginner, I would almost recommend using spot just because it's the simplest. But if you have a sense of the market and you feel very confident about whether or not the Trump token is going to move up or down in price based on TA analysis or any gut feelings that you have or things that you're reading on Twitter, then you can use bid, ask, or curve to maximize your profit based on where you think the price action is going to go. But again, for beginners, I would highly recommend spot. You just have to make sure that you're in range. And over here, you can see you can set the ranges, right? So the maximum and minimum price, these nice little buckets. The more that you concentrate your liquidity, like if you if you had $100,000 and you put it in this range, you would be concentrating a lot of your money in this range. So you would make a shit ton of money while it's trading here. But because you set the range so short, it's very easy for your liquidity to go outside of the bucket, the price to go outside of the bucket, which means that none of your liquidity is being used, which is why for me, because I want to, live my day, I set a very wide range, like do spot the whole way through. And then basically if the token dumps, 20% or pumps like 30%, it's still going to be in range, which means that I don't have to be staring at it every day.
Makes no sense. Yeah. It's kind of I think for like beginners, especially like using the spot strategy, using a wider range in terms of the bins is probably the easiest strategy to just begin with until you get more comfortable with the tool as well, because it is quite technical to use, which is also why there's so much opportunity here in terms of earning from the fees, because not everyone can do it. Like it's a bit of alpha, I would say. And funny enough, by the way, did you also see what happened with the M3 token?
Yeah. So the meme token also pumped, which is great.
Yeah. So I just pulled it up. I pulled it up on my screen and shared it. So what was we covered that before, that one, right? And it kind of died off after we covered it as well. Like the attention disappeared a little bit around M3. But it's basically is it fair to say it's the meme token of Meteora to an extent?
Yeah. It's run by a separate team, but very much benefits from anything positive that happens to Meteora, because for people who don't know, another way to play this cycle, you can stake your M3 tokens on the M3 website on Meteora. So if you go to m3m3.meteora.ag, you will find a staking page. So you can buy... Yes. So you can buy M3, and then you can stake it on meteora.ag. And from what I understand, they're distributing Trump rewards to like the top 100 addresses that hold M3. So basically people are buying a bunch of M3, staking it, and then that causes a pump in M3 for degens right in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Stake to earn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting product. Yeah. So I think that's also why the price increased, right? Because people have started to farm it and wanted to, take part in the reward program, basically, that they play around the whole M3. So it's not just a meme coin. It actually serves the utility, which is maybe important to add here as well.
I agree. There's a lot of utility being built on top of the M3 token. This whole thesis for M3 is, look, we can increase the price of this token if we add a staking mechanism and rewards for those stakers. It's just that simple, right? And if you make the rewards juicy enough, like free Trump tokens, people will buy more of memes so they can stake more to get Trump rewards. It's just that simple.
Now, you've touched on this before when you said, when you made it clear that you are careful with the let's say advice you talk out here, especially when we talk about something as the Trump token, because it is definitely nothing we've seen before. So it is impossible to give any tangible advice, in my opinion, right now to that play, because we haven't seen a token that listed purely on chain within less than 24 hours, which is a 40 billion market cap, which has 600,000 holders, which has 80% locked in one single wallet that is kind of governed by the team around Trump. Like this whole kind of what we see here, we've never seen that before. So it's really hard to give any kind of advice, or when people ask me, it's a good time to buy right now, I have no fucking clue. This could go a lot higher because of the dynamics around it, because of the the ease of use, let's say, they put into this token, because you can literally scroll down and they will tell you on the official website, buy now with a debit card or crypto, with the basically third big player that is in the picture here, with this, which is Moonshot, that allows you to buy crypto with credit cards. Pretty straightforward. So Jupiter, Meteora, Moonshot, I think, have been the biggest beneficiaries, how do you say, the people that benefited the most from this whole launch. But at the same time, we do see a lot of opinions in the space that are obviously also kind of controversial, and I am happy we do see these opinions as well, because yeah, DeFi Ignas says Trump and his teams aren't Solana maxis. They're just basically money grabbing. That's at least what the history told us, because they launched Trump digital trading cards with a 45 million market cap on Polygon. They launched Trump Bitcoin digital trading cards with a 5 million market cap on Bitcoin. Yeah, Polygon, then Bitcoin. The World Liberty Financial thing, which raised $90 million, which is some sort of DeFi platform built by the Trump team on Ethereum. And now on Solana, the latest play from them is the Trump meme coin, which reached the 29 billion FTV, now 40 billion FTV, with 80% to insiders if you actually look at the distribution here, which is also pretty crazy. Now, conclusion from DeFi Ignas here: meme coin Solana is the top performer of all value, but just keep in mind they do kind of short-term plays to an extent. So the speed that the attention can flow into these things is also equally realistic, that it's the same speed that it flows out of it, because these other things, they haven't been super exciting anymore after like a short period of time. So just like a few kind of words of caution as well. Then the second thing you mentioned earlier, where you said, okay, this is affiliated with the same team. You actually mentioned in the actual metadata of the token contains what exactly,
It could. I'm not so sure about the token itself, but the website. If you look at who developed the website for both the NFTs as well as the meme token, it seems to be built by Fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually researched that a little bit earlier as well, and I did some Googling around, and it was CIC, like the company behind that is CIC Digital LLC, which is a subsidiary company of the Trump organization that has been involved in various digital ventures. So basically, they sell all the Trump branded things, right? Like it can be physical things, it can be digital things, everything that has an IP to it. That's all being sold by CIC Digital LLC, and they put this huge ass kind of disclaimer also out here. When you want to buy the token, that says, okay, terms and conditions are here, where they literally tell you, this is very risky, and you might lose everything you put in. Obviously, they have to say that, right? Because obviously it is like very risky, right? Like the Trump memes are intended to function as an expression of support and engagement with the ideas and beliefs embodied in the symbol Trump. It's not an investment opportunity, investment contract, and so on. And basically, they make it sure that they don't promise or guarantee that the Trump memes will increase in value and so on. And then at the same time, you pull up the chart and you're like, sure, all right, whatever you say. Like, I hear you. So yeah, also pretty crazy. Now another thing, that I want to highlight here, what happened to Solana? Because like not only look at this as well. Like we I don't know, we didn't really mention it yet, but we crossed the all-time high, by the way, yesterday. For the price, we're now trading at 274 in the chart, which is above the all-time high. I'd love to show it, but my internet is like not today. But that is another thing that is very important as well to see. And one reason that might be, one reason, that was a small reason. There's obviously a very obvious reason, which is, it creates a lot of attention to Solana if Trump launches a token on that chain. But also, on-chain data reveals that the Trump team wallet, which deployed liquidity in Meteora's pool, has been actively buying Sol, using the fees collected from the pools, purchasing 7 million worth of Sol, and I'm pretty sure by now it's more than that. It's a couple of hours before we talk right now that this post went out. So they're actually buying in, they're circling into Sol actively from all their USDC rewards they get from the on-chain activity. Pretty crazy, right?
You know what? It'd be insane if he created his own validator and or like a Trump Sol token, like with the Sanctum team.
Yeah.
Well, because. And maybe he would use like the profits from the Trump validator to fund whatever social
Political
justice
campaign.
cause. He's trying, because there's a lot of causes that that Trump and his political party like to support. So I mean, like, he could ostensibly even use money from like a Trump soul validator to fund those things.
I mean, not gonna lie, that would be insanely genius and also very smart for branding and reputation, especially inside the crypto spheres. Because right now, our view on the whole thing is, sure, nice, thanks for choosing Solana, but it always comes with this kind of aftertaste, because the president of the United States, advising people to literally buy a meme coin. It is a bit shady, like, especially if you look at the vesting and everything. Sure, it looks good, but 80% with the main wallet. It has two sides to the coin, right? Like, obviously, a lot of people look at the chart and they're like, well, that doesn't look good. That is kind of, if you look at the bubble map, you literally see that 86% of the total supply is associated in the same cluster. So definitely, it's a bit worrisome. But then on the other side of the coin, on the flip side, it also means that the rug pull is kind of difficult. Like, it could only happen if the Trump team decides to rug, which is a bit unrealistic, I would say, in my opinion, because that would be insanely stupid. That also means that no one else can really rug this, because there is such a low kind of supply actually circulating. So that is why this shit is going up only, because we only see net buyers, really, right? So I think if they play it smart, what do you think the Trump team should do to kind of extract value out of this whole process, and what do you foresee them doing?
In terms of what I foresee them doing, I have no fucking clue. And also, I don't feel as comfortable as you are that, hey, it would be stupid for them to rug, so they wouldn't. I just don't have that confidence in human beings anymore, especially being in crypto for so long, and also having experienced multiple scenarios that felt like 100% wins, that, eventually at some point, look, I don't know when the bubble is going to pop, but at some point it's going to pop. It could pop at 200 per token, by the way. So, like, I'm not pretending like I'm some Cassandra that knows exactly when the top is going to be, but there's always going to be a top. And this idea that there isn't going to be a top, and investors who are very upset with how it turned out, it happens every single time. There is no exception to this rule. Trump may be the exception to the rule because he's the fucking president of the United States. But as far as I can tell, I mean, like, human greed has always dictated behavior. Look at the financial incentives and how people will behave. At some point, they're going to start selling off big amounts. But the smart thing to do, obviously, would be to sell it off very slowly, right? So you still can make money, but like you're not trying to do it in one go. And I don't see any reason why they should. They could totally sell off over a 4-year period and maintain the price of Trump. So it would be very dumb for them to rug as a short-term play. It would be better for them to play it over the next 4 years, and to each time Trump does something on a policy, perspective, watch token price go up.
Exactly. Yeah. That's at least, like, that would be the positive playbook that we could see coming in here. Basically a mix of extracting value from the chart, so selling into the green candles, and then also just taking the freaking liquidity fees that they make on the pools, because that's also a big income stream they can leverage on right now, which is more than enough. So I think, like, those two kind of plays would be smart for them to do. Let's see if they are as smart as that. But, like, I don't know if you're aware, but, like, why are they not here, by the way? Like, they should be listed here, no? Or am I stupid?
They should be they should definitely be listed here. But I don't think there's enough sources. Even in some other tracking apps I've looked at, they don't even have the name of the token. It's just like blank, which is quite strange.
I mean, they're here because the market cap obviously is much lower than the FTV right now because of the 80% ownership. So you see the circulating supply, like 200,000 Trump, 20% circulating, and that's the market cap. So that is technically true. So like, if we look at the DEX screen, it's representing the same numbers as well, right? So it's a bit of a weird scenario. I'm not gonna lie, like, because if it would be 100%, then we would be in the range of USDC, and we would have flipped Cardano, and so just saying. Which is pretty brutal. Anyway, like, there's been a few other kind of voices in the ecosystem that are trying to justify why this is good for Solana. So Gumshoe also put out a post, and he also said that once the liquidity trickles down on the Trump, into the ecosystem, we will see meme coins and DeFi explode, in his opinion. So it might also, trigger the last leg of the bull cycle, right? Is it a top signal right now? I don't think so. I think right now we're getting started for the next run. I've been, I think I've said that even on the pod before, that usually you can look at the chart. Let me just return to the live stream here. You can look at the chart and you can see by the use of technical analysis, you can see what is about to happen in the market, but you're just waiting for the events in the real world to make that TA come true. And it's funny how it works out so many times, like, because we talked about the bottom like 2 weeks ago, where I showed you the whole wave thing, right? And I told you, we're in this last leg down, we're seeing a leg up now. This could be an impulsive wave upwards. Obviously, I haven't seen that impulse coming, but I was looking for an impulse based on my TA. I was, waiting for it. And now we got the event that triggered it as well. So I think we're following pretty much the whole kind of thesis that many people, not only myself including, seeing right now, which is, a big bull market kind of continuation right now in the first half of the year. There might be at some point it needs to cool down a little bit. I don't think it's potentially, like, just looking at the midterm, I don't think it's going to be the end of the bull cycle, but the summer might be slower again. And then we might see another pickup in the winter, fueled by whatever macroeconomic event that's going on then under the administration of Trump. So pretty exciting times. Trump now trading at 45 million FDV while we're talking, so it just keeps climbing while we talk, which is pretty crazy. And Solana including as well. So yeah, happy new all-time high, my friend.
Yeah, and I have to say this as a sane, rational person as well. Like, there's part of me, that the professional part of me, right, that's in Solana and cares what happens to Solana. But there's also just citizen Eno, like as an American citizen, right, as someone who worries about the future of the world. Right. Yes, I think that this is absolutely a positive for Solana. I am very uncertain if this is a good thing for the world, for the president of the United States to have his own token. Yeah. I feel very torn about this, because I can't even begin to imagine the weird financial incentives that are created when a person in an immense position of power, owns a token like this. There's parts of this that just kind of, I can't even begin to imagine the dystopian outcomes that comes from very powerful figures owning their own token. But there's also some cool stuff on the Solana side. Like, so let me just talk professionally for a second, right? Which is all like, this is the purest expression of approval of a person. It is literally a social token, right? So what I expect to see during the Trump presidency, assuming that the core team does not rug, is that every single time Trump does something outlandish or crazy or promises something, the token price will pump, right? Because people want to see it, or it just adds attention to the token. But that's what I think probably the thing that concerns me. But that can be either really cool or very dangerous. Like, dangerous because, you might just start saying like a bunch of crazy shit, which Trump already does, right? To pump token price, which would be a horrible outcome. But at the same time, it can also be an expression of his presidential performance. Like, if he's doing a good job as the commander in chief, that also, like, just based on merit alone, like if he's reducing inflation, if he's making the American tax system more legible for everybody, then like the can all be trending towards a positive direction. But yeah, I am scared and slightly skeptical and a little worried about what this means for the world.
And I'm 100% sure that he and his team were 100% aware of the risks, and they were just like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's have the bots, because that's how I see this person after, watching his biography and, seeing just the past way of decision making in his life. I just think he's like an insane risk taker, and he doesn't give a shit about the potential implications of this. He's just like, this could be huge. Like, I think they actually put out the long-term vision for this shit, where they said, because that's like, look at the vesting contracts, like, what is it, 3 years? So there must be some vision behind this, and also it's not a coincidence that they launched the official Trump token 2 days before the person goes into office, right? There must be some plan around this, and they've been planning it already since a while. Like, I've heard from some friends of mine, they've actually been in discussions as well with some of the Solana companies that facilitated the trades since like 2-3 weeks, right? and they haven't said a word, by the way, inside the ecosystem, which is also like kudos to those companies that they didn't let it trickle down anywhere, which is insanely difficult in crypto. So it must have been like quite a small round of people to keep it secret, and then launch it at that day. I think it was all planned to an extent. Why would you launch a token on a Saturday? I think it was just because on Monday is the inauguration, and then it could be really the reflection of the success of the presidency of Trump. Like we have literally a financial instrument now. I mean, obviously, the terms and conditions say it's not a financial instrument, right? So it isn't. But we do have something, however you want to call it, call the baby whatever you want. But we have something to bet on when we want to bet on the efficiency and the outcome and the success of the presidency of Donald Trump. We have a token attached to it. That's literally the name of the president that we can follow and see basically his performance and the token's performance. But yeah, there have been critics already, and I've read a few Reddit posts already where they argued that this move is definitely unconstitutional. They called it a blatant attempt to profit from the presidency, which it's not wrong. The statement is not completely wrong. And obviously there are worries about some potential, conflicts of interest, and like there could be a lot of stuff happening in the background. At the end, it's still crypto. It's still a bit of a Wild West. And we have the president being part of that now. So yep, let's see how it goes. We're going to talk again tomorrow, I think, to kind of dissect this a bit further, most likely. So for now, we just wanted to run a quick emergency live stream here to talk about the situation. Anything else you wanna share, before we wrap it up for now?
Yeah, I thought it was very curious that the Trump team launched it not only on a Saturday, but the timing as well. Like I believe it was probably around like 11 p.m. Eastern time, and like maybe 9 p.m. Western time. I think that was very intentional, right? Like if they had launched the token more in a time that was more comfortable to Americans, I think there's a very clear case of like a case that could be made in court that they were trying to sell specifically to U.S. customers. I think it was a very smart legal move, at least. Even though I'm not a fucking lawyer, I'm sure there are lawyers out there that are rolling their eyes. They're like, no, that does not give you any predictability at all. But still, I think it was a very smart move to not sell at a time. So Americans are your initial liquidity, right? Like it's the rest of the world. So I could easily imagine Trump being questioned by this. He's like, look, we launched the token, at 11 p.m. Eastern time. This was not supposed to be for Americans. If American wants to buy, they can buy later. I could easily see him make a defense in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Alrighty, let's see the next 24 hours. I'm prepared for whatever. So let's see. We're right now at 47 billion. So we're just climbing up right now. In a very unhealthy move. But it's gonna stay a bit insane. Let's talk again next week and see where it leads to. For now, I go back in the trenches and analyzing whatever is happening right now here in crypto to kind of keep everyone informed and alive. But yeah, I'm pumped. Everyone's happy. New Solana all-time highs. So that's always a good news for everyone here. So I'm wearing my shirt with pride today. And we'll see where it leads to in the next hours. Thank you so much for tuning in spontaneously again to have a chat here. Everyone who's tuning in right now, you guys enjoy your Sunday. Don't touch grass right now. It's no time for that. No, you can touch grass a little bit. Just keep your phone with you. Keep your phone with you and look at the charts once in a while, because right now it's really not like we faded this. Let's not, let's just stay online for a while. And yeah, you enjoy your Sunday as well. And we talk again in a couple hours, I guess.
Yeah, man. Take it easy, everyone, and stay safe out there.
Stay safu. See you guys.